Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week, 10 days. In today's video, this will take us to around the 1st of September. So we go to the start of the new month with this, and also the very beginning of meteorological autumn as well. So we'll be leaving the summer behind with this update. It'll cover the bank holiday weekend, but just to say later on today, actually, we will have the 6th update for the late summer bank holiday. That'll be with you around 7 o'clock this evening. I'll have a look at CFS-V2 for the next month as well. We're going to start off, though, with the central temperature from Hadley. This is just updated. It hasn't updated for a few days, but we had an update this morning. So provisional to yesterday, 21st of August, we are standing at 15.5 degrees, which is an anomaly of nearly half a degree below average. So it's slightly cooler than average still for August. I expect this is going to tick up a bit over the next few days because we are into a warmer air mass at the moment. It's very humid today, and we're having some quite high minimum temperatures as well at the moment. So I suspect this will tick up a little bit. Whether we finish up cooler than average, it's very uncertain at the moment. We may actually, would you believe, finish up ever so slightly on the warmer than average side. But I think in the end it will come out very close to normal. Whether it's slightly cooler or slightly warmer than average, I don't think it'll be a very big deviation either way. So, but essentially we'll be having an average sort of month this month. Set against the old average though, that's 61 to 1990. I think set against a more modern average such as 81 to 2010, we will come out with a solidly cooler than average month. So it'll just depend which temperature average, which temperature series you go with as to whether it's an average August or whether it finishes up cooler than average in the CET region. And then, of course, we've got to wait for the UK-wide data to start coming in. Right, have a look at the ensembles next. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. We are looking today at Birmingham. So we're using the ensemble for Birmingham today. The red line here is the upper air temperature average. So we're warm on average at the moment. It is a very warm and humid air mass that we're in for the next day or so. Then cooling down in the second half of the week, back towards the seasonal average and staying there really until we get to the end of August, which is this period just here. After that, going a bit cooler than average into the opening days of September, and then possibly ticking up a little bit again. Overall, not a great deviation either way, so temperatures are very close to average once we get this significantly warm and humid period that we are in at the moment out of the way. Now for precipitation, so we've got a little bit of rainfall coming up as the cool down takes place overnight tonight and into tomorrow. There could be some rain coming through then. After that, fairly dry rest of the working week, but into the bank holiday weekend and next week we have got more precipitation spikes coming through then. So we probably end August and begin September, if we take this at face value, on a relatively cool and unsettled note. What about the surface temperature and pressure? So this chart, again, it's for Birmingham, and this is showing surface temperatures. At the moment, we're quite warm. We're above 20 degrees. That's 20 degrees just there. But you see the temperatures will be cooling down over the next couple of days. So tomorrow we're just scraping 20 degrees. By the time we get through to Thursday, we're actually under 20 degrees. The weekend, so around 20 degrees Celsius, rather on the cool side, really. And as we go through to next week, it looks like we're going under 20 quite solidly, actually. So a bit of a cooling trend, if anything, taking place there through the end of August and into the start of September. For pressure, let's just have a quick look at that. So at the moment, we're holding up at around 1020 millibars with the air pressure at Birmingham. It's going to lower over the next 24 hours as we bring a cold front across gets rid of this humid air, but it will produce some rain. After that, well, we see temperatures, see pressure trying to lift up a little bit through to the end of the week, but overall, I think pressure at the end of the week, into weekend, and into next week as well, is looking relatively low. We're actually going under 1,010 millibars then. Through to the start of September, this period just here, possibly a recovery in pressure taking place up to 1,020, but there's quite a bit of scatter there. We have got some ensemble members that are bringing some very low pressure. Equally, there are a few that are clearly building in quite a big ridge. So early September remains rather a difficult period to forecast for at the moment. Temperature anomalies going from the 22nd of August through to the 30th, coming out warmer than average in the UK. We're not alone, most parts of Europe coming out warmer than average for the coming week to 10 days. The precipitation anomaly from the 22nd through to 30th of August. Again, north-south split, so northern areas coming out wetter than average, Scotland, Northern Ireland, northwestern England, southern and southeastern parts of England coming out drier than average. Let's pull this out a little bit. So we go through to the GFS for Saturday, and we've got low pressure developing to our south and west. That could be spreading cloud and outbreaks of rain northeastwards across the country. And then we're going to quite an unsettled looking pattern through Sunday and into bank holiday Monday. Low pressure very close to the country, bringing certainly the risk of showers, possibly even some longer spells of rain. Remember, 7 o'clock this evening we'll have the 6th update for the late summer bank holiday weekend. Into the working part of next week, so Tuesday 29th, low pressure starts to rattle in from the Atlantic. That looks a little bit autumnal, I have to say there. The central pressure of that low pressure is, I think, 980 millibars, so that is really quite deep for the end of August. And then we keep this unsettled weather going as we run up to the end of the month. Low pressure remains in control. This is Thursday the 31st of August. Low pressure to the north of Scotland, bringing in these quite strong and showery westerly winds. Actually, day 10 sees that low pressure moving into the North Sea, and we start to turn the wind into the north. That looks like it's bringing some quite cool air down from the north for the first day of September. Into the east area, this is how the east area is looking for Saturday. Low pressure again looks like it's starting to develop out to the west of the country. East areas could be dry. Through the weekend, the bank holiday weekend, we gradually get a deterioration. So this is how bank holiday Monday is looking when we're bringing in westerly winds. Probably some sort of front here through the central part of the country. There may be a front sort of along that isobar just there, so that could bring some perhaps persistent rain to central parts of the country on bank holiday Monday. With the north to the north and south of that front, it may be a little bit dry, but of course it will be showery in the north. Through to Tuesday, quite a deep area of low pressure is developing then, probably along that wave in front I was just talking about. That could be bringing wet and windy weather in for the end of bank holiday Monday and into Tuesday. Beyond that, low pressure stays sort of in control as we run up to day 10, which takes us to Friday the 1st of September. We find low pressure clearing off to Scandinavia, and again this is turning wind into the north. There is some pressure building behind that northerly wind though, so we are bringing down a northerly here, which would be a very cool start to September. We have got some high pressure just here, and then we've got this low pressure, which probably has some sort of tropical element within it out there. It's possible this low pressure might stall and maybe build this ridge here, which could give us some dry and warm conditions through the opening week of September, despite the fact that the first day of September is starting with that northerly wind. Actually, talking of September, let's see what the CFS V2 is showing for the next month, and takes us into the second half of September. These are the 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period taking us from the 22nd, 28th of August. We've got high pressure to our north, low pressure underneath it. So this does look like we're ending August on quite an unsettled note, really bringing low pressure through like that. However, we would also be bringing up some quite warm air from the south, because we've got a ridge here across southern Europe, and that will be pushing up warmer air from the south. So warm but unsettled, really, for the final full week of September. Then we go through to week 2, which is the 29th of September through to the 29th of August, I should say, through to the 4th of September. And low pressure is taking over here from the Atlantic. So we're bringing in a westerly flow. Low pressure's up to the north of the country. That's bringing a westerly zonal setup, showers or longer spells of rain. And then week 3 is also looking unsettled. This is the 5th through to the 11th of September. Low pressure again. It's around the UK and many northwest parts of Europe. We've got some northern blocking over Greenland as well. Jet streams on a southerly track, doing something like that. So again, cool and unsettled, really, going into the second week of September. And then week 4 rounds it all off. This is right. This is quite an unsettled September that we're facing here, perhaps unusually, because September tends not to be one of our more unsettled months. It tends to have quite a lot of high pressure. But if this is right, this is perhaps one of the most unsettled Septembers for quite a while. This is the 12th to the 18th of September. And again, trough of low pressure is centering itself over not just the UK, but many western parts of Europe. The jet stream is doing something like that, so it looks like we're on the cool side of the jet within a trough of low pressure. A bit of an early autumn, you have to say, is being signalled here by the CFS V2. So we'll wait and see whether it's right. It could be that it's off on a tangent, but it could be that we're going to have, for perhaps the first time in quite a while, an early autumn with a fair amount of rain and some quite strong winds to take us through to September. That's all speculative. So coming back to August, what do we know for the next week to 10 days? So we're in this very humid air mass right now. That's got another 24 hours or so left. Be clearing away tomorrow with some rain and showers as well. But once that gets out of the way, we're into a drier couple of days then. Before the bank holiday weekend probably turns increasingly cool and unsettled, and then that lasts through to next week. We'll be picking up the storyline with the bank holiday weekend as we do the 6th update for the late summer bank holiday this evening. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.